This just in. The jazz era is sweeping the nation. The newest addition in this crazy trend has all the bins and broads showing off their legs. My name is Scoops McGee, and I'm here to give you the scoop on all of the latest crazes of the 20s. In addition to the gorgeous jazz tunes, incredible new development of film and radio, and the Harlem Renaissance, we bring you the next crazy concept. Today, I'm here to tell you about them. Flappers. Flappers are chicks who've gone wild. Not like we're complaining. These girls are thin and just about as hotsy-totsy as you can get. They don short dresses with what we'd call a dropped waist. Their hair is cut, wait for it, short. This is where their hair just about as short as any old cat you'll see. They wear lots of makeup and even work for their own dough. They're choosing their own partners, making their own spinach, and even participating in the workforce. However, it ain't all just for fun and giggles. This newfangled way of dressing seems to be linked to what sources are calling a feminist movement. Says one unnamed girl on the subject, women have highly resolved that they are just as good as men, and intend to be treated so. Well, I don't know about that, but their skirts sure are the bee's knees. Just a few years back in 1922, New York's very own Clara Bow starred in the feature film Down to the Sea in Ships, in which she masquerades as a boy in order to go sailing. This is considered to be the spark of her newfound career as a flapper star. Bow adores the feminist movement in all its forms, and plans to continue her career as a flapper star. Now to Darnell for your daily word of the giggle juice.
Well, a good morning to y'all folks. As y'all know, Prohibition is still in full force. In case you've been living under a rock for the past decade, I'll fill you in on the facts. So, emerging from the temperance movement in the late 19th century, some wise heads thought they'd ban alcohol in the US. I don't know what they were thinking, but that's the situation we're in right now. The 18th Amendment prohibited the sale, consumption, or manufacturing of alcohol in the United States. Now, not sure what kind of bum thought of that, but here we are. As I'm sure you're all aware, organized crime has increased drastically, but for good reason. I'll let y'all folks know about a little catch they're calling speakeasies. If you roll up to one of those joints, some jobby will get you some hooch. We've got plenty of speakeasies in the city. They're public places you can drink, dance, and let loose, as well as enjoy your time, of course. This is a good example of organized crime that's picking up here in New York. It's a little scary, but I promise it's worth it. We've got plenty of lookouts to keep you safe. But clearly, nobody's a fan of this prohibition. We're hoping for some changes. There's been a lot of talk about fixing these problems. Word on the street is that the government people might be rethinking their decision to ban all the tiger milk around these parts. They're saying alcohol can be a source of revenue and some folks can make a lot of money off of it. Stay tuned, kids, because things might be turning around for the better. Signing off now, Darnell.
Are you tired of having flat, boring hair that never seems to look right and never seems to dry no matter how hard you towel dry it? Introducing Fitzgerald's new hair dryer, the completely electronic device that produces hot or cold air at the push of a button. It even works on pussycats. Order yours today at any Macy's, drugstore, or department store.
Good afternoon, folks. It's Beverly Lenkins here for some breaking news on the Scopes monkey trial. I'm here in Tennessee to get the most information I can today. If you haven't heard of the trial yet, let me give you an explanation. This trial has gone to federal level. It's addressing the issue of evolution being taught in school systems. 2 years back, in 1925, the state decided to outlaw the teaching of the idea of the evolution process, dismissing it only as Darwin's theory. Almost 70% of states in the US are refusing to teach the subject, instead sticking to the biblical ideals of God's creation. John T. Scopes challenged this law by teaching students from a biology textbook. Now, Scopes was a substitute teacher, wasn't exactly aware of the law, but did it anyways. He was indicted and shown guilty of this crime. This led us to the Scopes versus Tennessee trial we're all familiar with, I'm sure. Of course, the government decided to let Scopes go without charges. However, the law is still in place to this day. There doesn't seem to be any movement on the law as of right now. Many people argue that it discourages students from learning different options or ideas, not teaching the scientific methods, instead only teaching the biblical version. This could pose as a problem down the line if we experience multiple religions in the same school trying to teach this method. As for now, teachers are sticking with Adam and Eve.
F. Scott Fitzgerald has passed away at the age of 44 on yesterday's date, December 21st, 1940. Fitzgerald was an incredible figure of the 20s. His most noticeable work is the ever-brilliant The Great Gatsby, beautifully embodying the 1920s. He published his first novel, The Side of Paradise, in 1920 and shortly thereafter married his wife, Zelda Sayre. He continued to publish works incredibly successful. The Fitzgeralds have a daughter, Frances Scotty Scott Fitzgerald. He and his family lived between the French Riviera and his hometown of Minnesota. His most popular work, The Great Gatsby, tells the story of Jay Gatsby, who was the fictional reincarnation of a famous bootlegger during Prohibition. After the stock market crash of 1929, Zelda suffered from insane mental breakdowns and lived the final 18 years of her life in various sanatoriums, being diagnosed as schizophrenic. The medical bills required to pay her stay were incredibly difficult on Fitzgerald, who fell into his own depressive state. He turned to Hollywood for money and fame, found happiness in a brief affair with Sheila Graham. As the state of his life and career waited on him, he passed away yesterday from a fatal heart attack.